We're taking a look at pattern GAE BAEK, or the practicalities of some of the movements. We were talking just, and there's actually three areas we're going to discuss. We've got a combination, and then we've got a couple of singular movements, and I get asked about these always on technical seminars. So you know what, we thought we'd address it here. Pretty short and sweet in the way of these two, because we have covered similar principles in previous videos. This, however, we haven't. If I can talk about this one just briefly, there's less practical stuff in here. I mean, I can show you what it does, but for the purpose of correctness, technical alignment, for me, there's a couple of versions of it. Just chill for a second, mate. So I've got a scooping block. You've got upper palm heels that tend to be more vertical, as in they pretty much come straight up, straight down. And you have scooping versions that will have a more of a circular-based method of approach to the target. It tends to lift. And you know, when you're doing GAE BAEK, I see lots of different ways of creating the back fist. What we tend to do is we tend to roll and control and place it into this front strike that comes in with the back fist. So what I'm wanting you guys to do is, where you can, it's one of the reasons why I've nudged Thomas to one side. You can do this in a second if you like, mate. I'm looking at the middle of my dough block, my center line. I'm going to scoop and pretty much sit on it. I'm going to punch pretty much right the way through it. And when I do my back fist, all the alignment follows a very, very similar pathway. Can you see it as I scoop, drop, and drop again? If Thomas is going to be in a position where he goes to maybe just grab me. Oh, poof. What I'm looking at doing here is I'm looking to control and create that as a movement. All I did was I lifted, I can possibly punch, I can control in or creating the space to lock, hold, and then strike straight afterwards. These videos, I didn't want to be an out-and-out technical, precise thing. It's more about understanding the movements. But for me, there's three techniques here you need to drop onto and breathe out onto, or exhale onto. So for the purpose of that, I lift, I drop on the strike, I create the next movement, and I drop on the strike again. I'll inhale and fire. So as a combination, you will see it done slightly differently depending on the association, but that's my preferred method because again, it follows those lines on that center. The blocking, scoop, the straight punch, the control, roll into back fist. Hopefully that makes sense. So this is where I do need you, mate. This is the double arcane block. I've seen a couple of variations of this online too, as we always do. It should come across the body and go on an opposite lock. It sits opposite. It's like a one-yo where it kind of goes against its flow or natural movement. And the main reason that it does is because of locking. Don't want to spend too much time on it, again, because we've done similar principles before. If you don't know what I'm on about, punch, mate, punch. We did this. We did that as a movement when we strike. It's pretty much the same. So what I'm thinking is the movement as it draws across goes that way. In the way of delivery, technically, it's almost like you're reading a book, flicking the pages, and you turn against it that way. Lift, drop. Thomas comes towards a punch position. I'm just going to simply get my palms in. I'm going to go across and lock, snap. That's my position. That's quite cool. I hit you in the mouth then. Sorry about that one. But it does obviously work to a level and a degree. If you come on this side, the book actually suggests it's a check-in type of technique. So if Thomas has walked towards me, oof, it's that. My only concern here is a walking stance. Is more front facing, it's stronger there. Anything that hits me on a diagonal, walk towards me, mate, walk towards me, is going to push me into a position of less strength where, you know, my walking stance is this way, it's not this way. So for me, double arcane is always a clip across the shoulder, all right? Try that one. And the final one, I was asked this only the other day, the number 9 block. And number 9, because you have a block that looks like a 9 in completion. It's as simple as that. What I would say is the lower half of the 9 comes inside, fist finish up by the bicep, very slight bend on the elbow. And the idea is that the lower half comes inside so we can create control or break. Again, if you're unfamiliar with it, Thomas comes to a punch me in here. I'm just going to come there and I'm going to break. Bend your wrist for me, mate. There, can you see what happened? I just want you to be able to see it, and if his wrists relax, you can see the flexion a little bit more. Floppy hand. I'm in, punch on the other one. It's that. If you're just double grabbing, you know what I could probably do as a position here is I could probably have a downward push and complete. And of course that puts me into entry movements again, doesn't it? Lots of cool things. So for me, that one creates a bridge or something that can anchor and control, and you break across the movement. Yes, you can do it in sitting stances, as per Poen. You can do it in Chongjiang. You do it in lots of different ways here as nines. There's loads to it. I suggest maybe you grab a partner and have a play. Don't do it full tilt, because there's lots that possibly could go wrong or right, depending on which way you're looking at it. But practice safely, and obviously put it back in a pattern, see if you can make it more powerful and understand what each bit does. Enjoy, have fun with those.